Okay, good morning. Good morning. No floater right now. We had a great floater about an hour ago, but the angle of the sun now, it's right through the tree there. Here's the twins on their way to school. They're nice girls. They nod to me each time they see me go by. They're not old enough yet to actually say aisatsu, but they nod to me. So. And it's Monday. Asakusa was the busiest yesterday, the busiest I've seen it literally in years, to say that. It's the busiest I've seen it since before the world changed. Yesterday was crazy. Tokyo has supposedly opened up. They've made a rule that, play around, but 9 o'clock. They're asking restaurants and stuff to stop serving alcohol by 9 o'clock. The virus, comes out to play after 9 o'clock, whatever, I don't know. So I don't know. We had our fifth wave. It went way down. We're now opened up again, and maybe there'll be a sixth wave. Who knows? No idea what to say. But it was crazy busy yesterday. Crazy busy. I was working a little bit down here, upstairs and downstairs, and the people came in. People tried to come in the shop. Are you open? Are you open? And I'm like, no, go away. What's next to the bollard is 2 plastic trash cans from the oyster shack next door. Because they're a commercial restaurant, their garbage is not picked up by the normal city garbage. They hire a commercial garbage company to come and pick it up. So they've put the 2 plastic things out, and I think during the night, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, the private garbage company comes and does it. I was dead to the world. I didn't notice it last night, but that's what you see there. And across the street, you can see they're backwards. You were seeing it from the reverse side. You can see the green flag that says Ninja Taiken, and the yellow one that's a bit behind the tree says Samurai Taiken. And they were at it yesterday. They were at it. They were out on the street, the 2 boys with their black suits, waving swords all over the place, and they caught some customers. There's one experience as I was on my way back from getting my lunch. Because it was Sunday, the food trucks were out there, so I went and got lunch and came back. And just as I came back past the Ninja Taiken place, there was a family walking by. Classic situation. Mom, 2 twin boys, about 6 or 7, a baby on her chest, and dad is like, I don't want to be here kind of dad. And the boys noticed the samurai kids outside, said, what's going on? And they said, it's Ninja Taiken. And the boys are like, can we do this? Can we do this? And mom looks at the price list. The price list is on the window, and it's like 4,000 yen per head for the full course. And the boys want to do this. And dad is like, he's adding up 8,000 yen. This is going to cost him 70, 80 bucks. Mom says, that's it. The boys are, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And in they go. Dad walks out about 30 seconds later, and he's gone. He heads over to the bar street. He's going to drown his sorrows for the next hour. And the boys go in, and mom is in there, and they start doing the taiken. And I got to go back to work. I go upstairs and back to work. So whatever. Tom 1060, relax. Okay, actually, before we get to that, I'd better just hide this little sheet of paper here. Whatever. So we're going to see some stuff today. So I have some catch-up carving. So the guy's going to drink another 8,000 yen, I guess. I don't know. We have some emergency carving today. I'm going to start carving a very special something this morning on this piece of wood, very long, narrow piece of wood. I'm going to carve something special this morning on here, but before I do that, I have some catch-up carving. The girls have asked for some whatever, on the 11th month print, the November print. So I have to do a block repair today, which is going to take most of the stream, but we're now ready to move on to next year's series. So. You see, the business model is working, but I don't know. I think that's all they caught yesterday. And if their business model means catching people who walk by on the street, then they're hosed. Because 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, nobody is there. Moms and kids do walk by on Sunday afternoon. So if that's their entire business model, then they are in big trouble. But we'll see. Presumably they have good social media. They're advertising, events for kids. I've got no idea. No idea. But also, whatever, they get 8,000 yen yesterday. If that's it, their running costs, we did a back of the envelope the other day. Their running costs are about 38,000 yen per day for that place. 38,000 yen per day, similar to what we have here when we're staffed and up and running. At the moment, our running costs are lower because there's no staff here during the day. But they have 3 staff members and rent. Okay, what we're doing here is this. It's a bit of a long story, and it's partly your fault. When I started, I do the royal we when there's mistakes involved. When I started carving this one, if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, there were 2 green blocks for the leaves. Kawasaki-san carved the base blocks for these leaves, and I went ahead and I carved the leaf veins. And one was supposed to be negative and one was supposed to be positive. And I started this on stream one day, and this is a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago or something. Anyway, unknown to me, when I discovered it later that afternoon, I had pasted the vein block onto the wrong one of the 2 green blocks. So I actually destroyed the block. I don't have it here in front of me, it's upstairs. So I destroyed the part that you saw me carve, and I had to recut it later that day, that afternoon. And I didn't have time to cut the whole thing, so I just cut the part that I had destroyed on the other block so that they would have a base green leaf block to use. And I told him I'd carve that one later. And later has arrived this morning, so I have to now finish my repair job. I have to carve the second half of this block, so that they can now get busy with the work on this print. They've been doing test printing off and on in the middle of their other work for the past couple of weeks. And I was supposed to get this done before, and I was going to do it quietly and not show you because, whatever. But here we are. Life is what it is. So we're going to see more leaf carving today. I think that's it. Blaming you guys, but I'm the one who runs this stream, And that day, it was the 2 blocks there, and I really didn't look at them carefully enough. There was a difference. One of the leaf blocks had just leaves, and one had leaves plus branches. And the veins should have gone on the one that was just leaves, and 50-50, I just didn't even think about it. I just pasted it on one of them, and 50-50, I lost my bet, and it was the wrong one. And if I had realized that there was a difference, I would have taken the care to think about what it was. But I just didn't realize, and I was chatting with you guys, and blame somebody else. So the point being, I've spoiled that half of that leaf block. And I said I realized it later that day. They were waiting, so I quickly that day slammed this out. Didn't have time to do the whole thing. So what we need now, we need another part of the base, the leaf base tone, and the leaf, the branch of the plant that has the leaves. I'll paste this down here now. When I did cut that, I knew I was going to have to be doing this, so I left this area untouched. And if I did that properly, I've left enough space untouched that we can actually now do this today. That's pretty close there. Are we okay? Yeah, we're okay by a millimeter or so. Okay, let's do this. So the plan for today is going to be this carving, and then I don't know, I probably can't finish this, but I did promise you we would talk about this coming up year's series. So I have also prepared now the tracing for the first print in next year's series, and if we get to it, I think we'll get to it today. And I killed my body on the weekend. I spent the whole weekend in front of a computer screen tracing. The other thing about that samurai taiken, the ninja taiken they did yesterday, I had so much fun. And as I said, I didn't sit there and watch them. I went back to work after the two boys went inside the shop, and I can't see anything anyway. They're in the shop. And for those of you who don't understand what's going on, that ninja taiken across the street is, I've learned a new word here. It's LARP. It's what a LARP, an LARP, a live action role playing experience. I hadn't known that until somebody taught me that word last week. But anyway, so in they go. And I know the idea. I know how it works. I've seen their website and the pamphlets. They dress up the kids in a little ninja outfit, and they teach them some stuff. They teach them secret hand signals, whatever, all this kind of stuff. That wasn't real. Don't try decoding it, but whatever. And then they have a role play, and there's a bad guy who goes out into the town somewhere. And then the little kids doing the taiken with their instructor, they go out and find the bad guy and do whatever. I have no idea how it works in practice, but I learned part of it yesterday. It was so much fun. I guess it must have been, I don't know, a half an hour or something after the kids had gone inside to do this thing. I'm back upstairs there. I'm tracing, and I hear this drunk guy outside. It's a drunk guy, the top of his voice, what are you gonna do? And all this kind of stuff, some drunk guy. And I thought, Sunday afternoon, we get this in the evenings, but we don't usually get this on Sunday afternoon, So I'm like, whatever. And it goes on, and it escalates. And I'm thinking, there's a fight happening outside. What's going on here? So I look to the window. It's not a drunk guy. It's the role-playing game is underway. And two of the dudes, the instructor is dressed like a ninja. The two little boys are dressed like ninja. And there's some guy dressed like he's from some Jedi movie or whatever, some samurai epic era, whatever. And it's not that he's drunk, it's that he's a bad guy. He is threatening and doing this and whatever. And there's a girl nearby, and I guess he's pretended to kidnap the girl or something. I don't know the details of the story, but whatever. So I stand on my balcony. I'm really curious, how is this going to play out? What's going on, And the two little fresh ninjas, they don't quite know what to do here. So the ninja instructor crouches down, and he whispers in the ear of the guy, and he makes some gestures. And they start, the two little ninja, they stand there opposing this drunk bad guy, and he coaches them. Ready, 1, 2, 3. And they make hand signals. And nothing happens to the bad guy. So they make some more hand signals. Chop, chop. And the bad guy comes a bit closer. And one of the two little ninja guys, he breaks down crying. He's scared of what's going on. So he's only like 6 years old or something. And this guy pantomiming being the bad guy is getting closer and closer. The hand signals aren't working. I guess it's part of the play. And the kid breaks down, Mom! And she's off to the side, videoing this whole thing with her camera, And she puts her camera down, she comes running in, and the ninja instructor stands back, and Mom comforts this little boy. And the bad guy backs off a little bit. Real ninjas don't cry. It was so fun. And people all over the street have stopped to watch this, because they were, the shouting voices caught everybody's attention. So whatever, Mom gets the kids settled down a bit. The instructor comes back in and says, okay, let's make some new hand signals. And the bad guy gets the idea now. So they do their thing, 3, 2, 1, and they make their hand signals. And the bad guy falls backwards onto the sidewalk. Oh, I'm hit, or whatever goes on. Everybody lives happily ever after. And I guess if their business is successful, this is going to go on here. Every day from now on, we're going to see this. I don't know myself whether to laugh or cry. What are we going to? This is the new Asakusa, you know. Whatever. It was cool. But they got their 8,000 yen. But as I said, that's not even 1/4 of what they need to cover their running costs, you know, whatever. So we'll see, whatever. It's their first couple of days open. Same with Mokuhankan. When we opened in 2014 here, it was Death Valley. You know, I'm thinking we have made a big mistake here with my tens of thousands of dollars. But so for us, it's a year, whatever. The first year was Death Valley, you know. So I guess if they've got enough money behind them to support it, they'll be okay. But if not, then they're going to be out and gone. You know. Okay, for those of you who don't know what's going on here, we have a piece of wood. The areas that I have colored here in this red-orange color, the piece of wood there is going to be left alone. And I'm going to take away the wood that is outside it. It'll end up looking something like this. We have a before and after here, actually. You can see this is unusual. There's pieces of wood left over that will print leaf shapes, and we carve away the wood from around them. That's a long story why we're doing half and half here, but anyway, this is now going to, when we're finished, this is going to match here. You're seeing orange. It's nothing to do with orange. The block will be printing leaves, but I didn't need to paint this. I didn't need to paint this in a green color. We just needed to paint it in something that's visible so that I can see which areas of wood to leave behind. So. Okay, let's get carving. I've got the wrong glasses here. Let's put lights on. New tape, Tom. New tape. The other thing, though, is we used to do our own taiken. We had a Mokuhankan taiken. We had an experience of making woodblock prints. That was here. So those guys are running a ninja taiken. We had a woodblock taiken. And looking at the difference between the two, you know, we had a place in the back room where up to 4 or 5 people would come in and do a print, and 1 or 2 of our staff members would take them through it. You know, the people came in, we did the thing, and the people chatted and then left. But seeing what those guys are doing outside, they had, 3 staff members. And the 3 staff members were fully engaged in this. They were like acting and playing around and running around outside and doing this for 2 little boys, you know. And like, this is okay, but if their business is actually successful, how are they going to run that thing during the day? Like every time somebody happens to wander in, they start a new one. What happens when new people come in partway through the previous one? Or I suppose their idea later is to do it booking on the internet, and it's time slots. There's another adventure starting at 1 o'clock, another adventure starts at 2 o'clock, something like that. That would have to be the only way they could do that. But I also don't know if they understand how intensive that's going to be. I mean, our own little taiken, woodblock prints, was intensive. We got exhausted doing that. And it's nowhere near as intensive as what these guys are doing. They're running around outside, waving swords, acting, falling on the floor. They're going to do that how many times a day? I mean, good luck on keeping your staff, you know. I don't know. I guess they know what they're doing, but I don't know. You know, there's these things that they seem like a good idea at the time. On paper, it looks like a good plan. But I wonder if they really do get successful, can they actually continue with that? You know, is it doable? And I don't know. I guess they've thought about it, but. Okay, is it all visible? Let's see, can we get a bit bigger maybe? Let's see. If I get too close, then it'll wander out of the field of view, so. Did you ask about paper today? 3 packages are out today. It's upstairs today is Suga-san she's doing the Night Rain cat, coming out really, really nicely too. She's doing the Night Rain in 8 views of cats. Rei-chan is doing test printing on this print, and she's doing the ski picture from the Japan Journey series. She's halfway through that one. Then Ayumi-san, she starts a new batch today. She is starting more Patreon chibis. We still are chewing through the unending batch of Patreon chibis we need. People have been asking this on the stream, and we're sending them out about 100 at a time, and they're going out. I think 300 or so have left so far. There are another 300 still to go. Of that 300, 100 are printed. There's 200 left to print still. So if you're waiting for your Patreon chibi, it could be there tomorrow. It could be a few weeks away yet. So I don't know. We're just chewing through the list. I'm sorry. You will get it. It will arrive. This is the summer chibi. So yes, 3 ladies upstairs printing today. And we are anticipating a package arriving here today or tomorrow from Chiharu-san, our printer living over in Nagano. She's the lady woman who is doing our recent batches of the Great Wave. And you saw a batch of about 60 that came through, was it last week? Whatever. Anyway, her next batch is due probably tomorrow. She's asked for a new job as of tomorrow. So I think that means I should be expecting another batch of waves here any minute now. So maybe next Thursday stream will be more Great Wave embossing. Who knows? I don't know. Apprentice printers needed. Yeah, the ninja people across the street. So. There's a real question here. The one from Ransimo. Is that a Japanese name? Ransimo. Where do we carve on the line? This is really interesting, and all I can say, the quick, easy, smart-ass answer is, it depends. It depends, because there's many factors that are involved here. A couple of things. The main one is, like, how thick is this line and how much control do I have over it anyway? If you think of a print that's got really nice big fat lines, you've got lots of leeway. You carve somewhere in the middle of that fatness, and the black pigment, because it's not transparent, covers up your joint. On a line that we're looking at here, there's much less leeway. And I'm trying to go, in theory, where I would be is just basically halfway through this line. In theory. Now, I can't actually do that without slowing down to a microscopic snail's pace. So what we do on a print like this is, I know in advance what colors are going to be used. And this is a super important point. When the finished print is here, we have this zone, let's call it outside, and this zone, let's call it inside. And if it turned out that the outside zone was going to be a darker, deeper, more saturated pigment than the inside one, then it doesn't matter if the inside one comes out a bit too far. So I would carve this block wide. In fact, you could carve it just as a blob outside the lines, and it wouldn't matter because this inside color will be covered up by the outside color later on. If it's the other way around, if the inside one is going to be deeper and more saturated than the outside one, then you can't go past the lines because it will look like a mistake. You will see it clearly, color going past the lines. But you can't carve inside because it would leave a white gap. So the point being, if the inside color is going to be more saturated than the outside one, you have to be really careful not to go past the lines. So you've got to keep yourself inside the line. So I'm carving with a feeling of stay closer. Don't let yourself go wide. But the opposite, as I said, if this leaf was going to be a very light color, or here, for example, there, if we were carving the blossoms, we know they're going to be a light color and the outside is going to be a saturated color, I can carve with the feeling of go near the edge of the line. You can carve wide, you carve close, or you carve wide, and you do that depending on what you think is going to be done with the colors. So we said before that as a general point, the carver doesn't care what's going on. He just cuts the blocks and it's up to the printers to do what they want with them. But that's not strictly true. Because if the carver does know what's happening down the line, it can give him a bit better feeling. And we've had some cases recently, blocks that we've received from carvers, where it's been carved wide. It's still on the line, it's still within the line, but it has a feeling of wide, and those blocks are very, very difficult for the printer. Because if it's wide that way, and it's wide this way, then the printer has to get exactly perfect, right bang in the middle to a microscopic level. And what we found with some of these recent blocks is the printer's printing, looks at the test print, yeah, the pigment's pushing out a little bit on that side. So they move the registration mark tiny bit. Their next copy shows, now the pigment is pushing out on the other side. It's really, really, really a careful, careful balance. So today, I'm sorry, long answer to the question, but I'm trying on a block like this right now just to basically run down the middle of that black line. Keeping also in thought though that because these leaves are going to be dark and the outside I know is going to be light, don't go wide. If anything, stay close. There's another factor too. These leaves will be made up of two blocks, a light green and a dark green. And that gives me insurance. If I cut this thing a little bit too close and actually there was going to be a white gap there on part of the leaf, I might find, or I'll probably find, that the other green block is carved okay there, and it will save my life. So even if I carve a bit too light here, the other block will cover the slack. Unless, of course, I do the same thing on both blocks. This is really, really an interesting point and a serious point. And a whole set of blocks can look just right, and yet they can be fiendishly difficult to print if the carver has gone wide everywhere. And we've had that trouble with some of the new blocks we've had recently. The blocks are carved correctly, they're carved nicely, but everything was just on the wide side. I'm ignoring the chat, I'm sorry, excuse me guys. Hi. Yeah, John's brought up another point here. If it's carved wide and the printers test it, sorry guys, it's too wide, it comes back here, we can slice off that wood and bring it back to where it should be. We can't go around every single line all over the place. We don't want to, but it can be trimmed off. Whereas if it's narrow, fixing that is much more difficult. That means inserting wood. So yes, that is another point. So the carver, to be safe, wants to go a little bit wide. But when he goes wide right and goes wide left, for the printer, it's a disaster. And the thinner the key lines are, the more difficult it gets. Which brings us to next year's series. Okay, clearly now there's no way I'm going to be finished this within the time parameters for today's stream. So what shall we do about the other things that I'm supposed to talk about today? As I said, I have the first key block for next year's series here. The idea was to paste it down and start carving until last night when I got a notification about this job reminding me that this wasn't done. So what shall we do? What shall we do? I also have a show and tell, a continuation of those envelopes that we're still opening. I don't know. But the other thing too is, for me, for my work schedule, this is going to be finished this afternoon anyway, no matter, and nothing to do with streams. I have to get this done and finish it this afternoon so the block can go upstairs. And then work, the idea was to be working on the key block for next year's series for the next few days. But if I don't start that one today, if I did it offline, nobody is going to be happy about that. You want to see this. So I guess what we should maybe do is this, let me work on this till, tell you what, how about we do that? How about today's show and tell is the prep of that block for first year's series, first block for next year's series. How about that? But that would mean we miss a show and tell 2 streams in a row. Let's think about that. I see another comment too. Someone's asking about the angle of the knife. Of course, the knife doesn't go straight up and down into the wood. The knife cuts at an angle so that the leftover wood, you can see it, the leftover wood here, I'm not sure if you can get the geometry, but the top of the wood is there. The sides do go down like a mountain. We're not carving Misas here. We're carving Mount Fuji here. A mountain with a flat top and then sides that slope away from it. So yes, my knife angle is consistently away from the area to be retained. John-san, our young carver, the boy who came from Hong Kong, he is magnificent at color blocks. And of course, he's doing really careful with the key lines as well. But his color blocks are magnificent. Just the angles are correct, the shoulder is correct, and I'm just hacking this out, bang, 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 bang. John-san would sit here, he's younger, he's got better eyes than I, and he will split this probably, say, 60-40, this line. Dave here is struggling just to stay inside this line. John-san will do this, he'll do it 60-40. Not 50-50, I said we're going to try and push a little bit out. He'll do it 60-40. And as a result, it'll take him a month to do it. But whatever. is my pronunciation on Misa's wrong? I don't know. I don't live in Utah. How do I know? I'm sorry. We didn't have many of those where I grew up. That's another point too, someone like me, as a kid I read books on this and that and this and that and this and that. So my general knowledge of the world, for the most part, the stuff that, I learned, my knowledge came from books. So you read stuff and, how does a word pronounce, whatever, you just read it and grab it and move on, But in a more modern environment, many younger people, their first knowledge of something would come from seeing maybe a video or TV or you name it, or something about it, or a movie, a National Geographic program on the topology of Utah or something, or whatever. Dave read the book and he reads Misa, and someone who sees this through a presentation, and a visual presentation, someone says the word rather than you read it. So over the years, I've had the same experience any number of times where it turns out that Dave's internal pronunciation of some word is actually different from the way the word is really pronounced. And if it's not a word that's part of normal, general daily conversation, you don't get, this doesn't get corrected, Excuse me. Someone's saying here, John's saying Mesa, but doesn't it depend what part of America you come from? Do all Americans just pronounce this thing the same way? Really? Tom, look, can I take back a chocolate egg? Tangentially. That's a different thing. That's not pronunciation. That's simply getting the word wrong from the beginning. That's something different to show. Yeah, pronunciation. So. The first, well, I think I've told this story, years and years ago. I'm in the car with a friend. I'm 15 years old, whatever. We're just moved to a new place, and we moved to a new town. And a friend and his dad are driving me around, showing me different stuff in this town. And we passed some ecclesiastical building there, whatever. And for some reason, I'm reading this out. And I read the name of this sign that goes by in this thing, and it said, Delta Episcopal Church. Whatever. And the guy who's driving, what was his name? I don't know. Peter Hill. He just about took us off the road. He laughed so hard. Dave here is reading the name of this church is Episcopal Church. And the conversation goes on. I mean, whatever. I learned my mistake, that it has been one of these internal mispronunciations that I've had for all these years. It's okay. That's fine. There's no hostility here. But that's how you learn. People break up laughing, this Episcopal Church. And I remember the conversation in the car then went on that day, and he's thinking, gee, if Dave mispronounced that one. And then he starts playing with me. He starts giving me a few of these things in English. He was from England. And he said, gee, how do you pronounce that girl's name? The one that starts Penel. And this one I knew. I knew, and he was expecting me to say Penelope, and I didn't. That one I knew, Penelope, right? And he says, okay, you're okay then. So I'll never forget that one. The guy just laughed. He just whatever, took us off the road laughing so hard. The Episcopal Church. It's okay, whatever. You learn stuff as you go along, whatever. What's the expression there? Stupidity is permanent, ignorance is temporary, What was that, a garbage truck or something else? What is that? Oh, it's a cherry picker. Something's going on. Oh, my guess would be a new sign for the Korean hot dog place, maybe. No idea. Cherry picker. Who knows? We'll see. That's not how it's pronounced. So this is how we learn these things, right? So well. He's gone now, that guy in the car, Peter Hill, long gone. He was a really, really, really nice guy. Absolutely nice guy. The people we meet, there's people who have an effect on us. Actually, he sort of changed my life a little bit. He's just the father of my school friend. I had been assigned a locker together with Jan Hill. I'd moved into a new town. I was 15. I'd been assigned a locker with Jan Hill, who was also in the school band. It turned out we got kicked out of the house we had rented straight away, and there's no house, and we had to get on the street like that at night and stuff like this. So there was a bit of an emergency, and different members of the family had to bunk out with different friends. So Jan and his father Peter said, "Look, I see the problem. Whatever, stay with us for a few days till you sort this out." So our family dispersed for a few days. This sounds like a horrible story. It's nothing. It was just whatever. We had to rent a new place. That's all. So we dispersed for a few days, and I stayed at Peter Hill's place with my friend Jan in school band. And he had a bookshelf, and on his bookshelf there was a book called Classical Guitar Making by a guy called Sloan. And I grabbed this off the bookshelf, and you know where the rest of this story is going. A couple of years later, there's Dave. He's got a room upstairs in the house there, and he is making classical guitars based on this system that the guy called Sloan had built. You too can make a classical guitar in your own basement, whatever. I learned later that his method actually was quite real guitar makers frown on it. It was whatever. He came up with his own system for doing it, and I didn't. Maybe it wasn't controversial at the time. I don't know. It turned out that real luthiers looked at this method and thought, that's not how we do this, guy. But the point was, he wrote an interesting book about this, and I followed the book, and I made some guitars. That was fun. They weren't Episcopal guitars, but whatever. Good conversation about English. You're all studying English, are you? Somebody's asking, is it called a cherry picker in Japan? No, of course not. I don't know the word for it in Japan. And I myself didn't grow up calling it a cherry picker. And I think that came from this stream. And I think one of those trucks came by a while ago. And I would be probably John, who said, hey, there's a cherry picker. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I look at it and realize that's the word for that thing. The bucket goes up and you pick cherries. So no, I don't. What would I have called that? I don't know. I grew up without any specific term for it. It's that truck that telephone repairmen use for climbing up to the lines and stuff like that. And I have no idea what they're called in Japan. Cameron-san? No idea. I would guess it's the same thing. There's probably no word for it in common language. It's that truck that those guys use when they're climbing up to fix the lines. But I don't know. Something else I have to ask Cameron-san here. Cameron, you're on here, Cameron, are you? Riftosha. Okay, way ahead. So, Cameron-san, is there any follow-up on the lawyer situation? This is whatever, nothing to do with our stream here. We got a letter from a lawyer the other day. And Cameron, it came into our Japanese website, and I hadn't seen it, and Cameron leaked it over to my side, and I'm like, no way! And we did. We got a letter from a lawyer, and we are really, 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 really interested in the follow-up. And Cameron, let me know, have we had a follow-up on this yet? I guess it wouldn't have. Cameron would have let me know. But the thing is, it's not a mailbox that we are really active on. So it's quite possible more stuff will come in, and this could be, if things go the way I'm sort of hoping and working towards, and whatever the way they might go, that letter from the lawyer, which was really, really, really possibly good news, it could be one of the things that changes the direction of our business in quite a major way. And this is a tease, I'm sorry, this is a tease. There's stuff happening in the background that I actually cannot talk about. And this letter from the lawyer was a really, really, really good sign. He introduced himself, and he said, I look forward to, that we're going to be doing lots of business together, which was really, really something that I was glad to read. So, and I'm teasing, I'm sorry, but whatever, who cares? It's going to be big, big, big news. Also makes me think of the Beach Boys. Is that our new shoe lady then? We've heard her, right, a couple of days ago at about this time, halfway through the stream. This is not the old shoe lady, but I think now we have ourselves a new shoe lady, a person who walks by at about the same time each day with a very distinctive stride. I think the shoe lady is dead. Long live the shoe lady. Did you hear it? Dave gets excited, talks about too many different things, and one tiny backflip here. I always break it on a backflip. We have broken our knife. Step one, remove the broken piece so it doesn't hurt the new knife. There we are, we broke it. Another one, wait. Deja vu all over again. Didn't a cherry picker just drive up there a few minutes ago? Now I'm confused. They're stacking up out there. Oshibori man, where are you when we need you? Yeah. That's what you, nothing happens for a year and then everything happens all at once. So. Yeah, there's still room on the street. It's okay. It's actually fairly wide. Why do we call this stream Japanese printmaking? It should have a different name. Now this is broken. That's about 1 millimeter broken off the top there. So we have to cut back. This is going to take a minute here. And I am really liking these little metal stones, whatever you call them, sharpening plates. The idea of doing this flat on the table, it really helps. Even someone with tons of experience like me, this really helps keep the angle flat, flat, flat. My hand is running along the table. The back of my left hand is running along the bench here. So this thing is staying completely flat. Shibori, we're in there. Look at this. Oh my God. And the stream goes wild. Okay, I think we've got the clip. There we are. We have the knife now. The shape is back. I'm sorry, I should concentrate on it. The shape is back, but because this is done on a rough stone, we have to now flip it over. That was a 400 stone, which has left, of course, huge scratches and gouges in the steel. So we'll use 1,000 for the next step. So this is much lighter pressure and of course a finer stone. So this is basically just polishing up this scratches from the previous one. This stone isn't changing the shape of the blade. It's not really cutting back steel. It's just cleaning up after the last one. It was the 400 stone that did the work here of shaping the blade. So we don't need much here. I think we're good to go. Not good to carve. We still have to go with one more stone, and for the final stone, and this is just my whatever, I don't know. For the final stone, we're still using a natural stone here. There's no specific reason for this. I'm sure there are nice modern steel stones that will also do the polishing step. I don't know. I haven't explored. But it's just sort of, I don't want to completely let go of using natural stones for this, you know. Although those steel stones really did the job. This is the polishing then. This is the shiageto. Literally, same translation, finishing stone. Shiageto, finishing stone. Are they all gone? The cherry picker's still there. I don't know what they're doing. Do we know where they are? There we are. We now have a beautifully, beautifully, beautifully sharpened knife. It's too bad because this knife now, it's sharpened a bit too sharp for color blocks. This knife now is sharpened. It would be really nice for working on the key block, which I'm going to be doing later today. It's too sharp for color blocks, but you can't, you know, you can't sharpen it dully. Where's the wood? Dave, I look like a shaggy dog. I know. It's getting to be crisis. She has asked me to hold on. She's going to be back next week. I don't know how I get myself into these situations, but yes, I need a haircut. I understand. It might be happening tomorrow. It might be happening a week from now. I don't know. It all depends on how the lady is feeling. The lady who normally cuts my hair had a major operation this summer, and she closed her little business for a few months. And I guess most of her customers, the ladies who live nearby, of course, just gave up and went somewhere else. But because she gets sort of upset when I go somewhere else, so I don't know. So I sort of stupidly a little bit, instead of going somewhere else 2 months ago, I just held on waiting for her to get back. And it's been postponed and postponed and postponed. And we've now come this far, like she's going to be just one more week before she gets back. It's silly now to bail out and go somewhere else. So I'm sorry. I've got myself in this bizarre situation. And yeah, here's the domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. いいですか? 着払い。大丈夫ですか? Okay. はい、どうも。はい、ありがとうございます。Cameron, cranes. Oh, no, ごめん。今、スタッフと、ごめんなさい。申し訳ないです。はい。He thought I was calling him back. Cameron-san, cranes, 50 cranes. Is he still there? Cameron, wake up. Yes. Or I hope it's 50 cranes. We interrupt this program. "49 cranes in a cut corner," or 49 cut corners in one. I don't know. We interrupt this program. There are not 50 prints in here. There's no way there's 50 here. It's way too thin for 50. I gave him 100 plus sheets of paper, and I said, look, I can't wait for you to finish all 100, so do a quick batch first for us to send. I sort of assumed he would do half and half. We'll see. We'll see. I was going to phone him today to say, where I win. There's no way there's 50 cranes in here. Oh, wait. Part 1 of 3. There's 31. Part 1 of 3. So instead of splitting it in 2 groups, he seems to have split it in 3 groups. It's totally okay. Anything will help. We are back-ordered, back-ordered, back-ordered. The cranes have exploded. We are out of them. Look at this. We are good to go, unless he's put one good one on top. Let's flip over. I don't see any cut corners. He just sent me good ones for now. Here we are. I think if I turn the light out, it might actually work a little bit better, less glare. Okay, Cameron-san, these will be on their way. As soon as the stream is over, I will interrupt all my other jobs, and I will check these for Chidi and pass them on, and they will be on their way to Ome this afternoon. Or actually, no, hold off on that. I'm going to phone the haircut lady this afternoon, and if she is up and running, I'm going to Ome tomorrow morning, so I can take these with me. Either way, they will be in Ome tomorrow morning, Cameron-san, so let them know, please. Very nice, very nice. This is from the man we call Mr. K. Mr. K, we have too many printers. We have 3 or 4 printers now whose name starts with K, and 2 of them are the same name. Kanai-san and Kanai. No, Kawai. We have two Kawai-sans now and 1 Kubota. So Kawai-san out in Nagano is doing our great waves. This is Mr. K, the man who you might have met in the print parties. He used to be a print party host on a would-be printer, and now print parties are dead, and he is now, look at this. We talked about the embossing, remember? People said, how come the printing doesn't do embossing? The printing does do embossing. You can see that right there. Even the background color here, thick, thin, thick, thin. The background color has deeply embossed the paper, but you normally don't see it. I am really, really happy with these. Beautiful job. Mr. K, if you're listening, look at that. Also, I adjusted the block. Taran-san, if you're watching too, nay, we've done this now. Nay, we adjusted the block at the top here, and now it just pops. It pops. Okay, thank you. Sorry about the interruption. It's going to be that kind of day today, just whatever. It is that kind of day today. There's nothing else to say. When I said the knife is too sharp, what I meant is, the angle is just right, the angle is okay, it's perfect for doing this, but simply now it's razor sharp at the end there. And it's just so perfect for carving key blocks. If I just want to dig into a key block. With a color block, you saw me hacking. It needs a sharp knife, but it doesn't need to be razor sharp. And I'm a little bit concerned I might break the edge again here, because I'm sort of working quickly and bang, 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 bang. Whereas if this was a key block, I would be working slowly and methodically, shaving each line. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong here, but when I said it's too sharp, it really is. I would rather be using this for a key. It's okay. We just sharpen it up. They get shorter and shorter. We have lots of knife blades here now. We have hundreds of knife blades. Just I'm going to be very, very careful here next little while. No breakfast yet. Sorry about that. And I made it to this stream with seconds to spare today. Literally seconds to spare. This thing that I pasted down for you here, I was printing this at 7:58 this morning. I had come and set up the cameras around 7:30 or so, and then realized that I didn't have my transfer done. So I hunted up the block, and I was printing the transfer in the old party room at 7:58, ran back to the stream, hit the button to start at 8 o'clock. This is our schedule these days. And today, Cameron and I, today is a critical day over on the software. We made our big switch a week or so ago, and the subscription program has been running on the new software now for about a week. But today is its first massive stress test. We will be sending invoices to subscribers this morning in bulk for the first time. And I don't know how many people are involved. It's maybe about 100 subscribers or so. And they will get their invoices sometime later this morning for the first time through our new software. And it's looking good. We've been testing and testing and testing and testing over the past week. But today, Cameron, at one point, after we do some more checking and testing, Cameron is going to hit one button, and we're going to hold our breath, and the system is going to create invoices and emails and records and everything for 100 people in about the next 2 seconds. And before, doing the subscription billing it wasn't manual. We didn't do them one by one, but Cameron had to do a fairly large amount of preparation for each day's work on this. And now it's a one-button affair. And he and I are both like, is this really going to work? He's like, Dave, really? Because he's seen my software in operation before. It works great until it doesn't. Today's billing day is one of the 3 billing days. I know we used to bill all of our subscriptions at the first of the month. No problem. We sent the bills on the first of the month. Over the next little while, people paid, and Ome shipped prints. But now that we have around 500 subscribers, it doesn't work that way. If we sent everybody the bill on the first of the month, huge number of people pay, and Ome, our shipping staff, all of a sudden has 500 prints to send in a few days, and then not much for the rest of the month. So Cameron and I worked out that we should do this a little bit different. He has split the subscriber base into 3 groups, the 1st of the month, the 11th, and the 21st. And we bill about 1/3 of the people each time. They pay over the next week or so. So Ome, instead of having one giant bump and then down and then nothing, their workflow works fine. Every 10 days is a new batch starting to flow through. On top of this is the normal daily orders from the shopping cart. We're talking about the subscriptions here. I'm now confused. I'm really confused. This is the Shibori truck back again. What am I not understanding about how this works? Didn't he come already this morning? It's a different truck. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't quite on this, so. And is the cherry picker still there? Can we slide this up a little bit? Just a sec. It is still down there, so I don't know what they're doing. It's not in action yet. No idea. It could be anything. It could be a new optical fiber cable for somebody's internet. It could be a new sign on one of the shops. I have no idea what it's for. It's none of my business. I will take a peek later on and report to you. No idea. We'll see. The optical fibers actually no, because they run under the sidewalk. The yeah, right. John's on it there, nay. So maintenance of the ROX air conditioner. They're going to turn it up. Actually, we're coming to the end of this. Another 2 or 3 weeks, and the ROX air conditioner shuts down for the year. It kicks up in March or April. Usually April, I guess. I don't remember exactly. And then it goes to sleep. It turns off. They obviously have air conditioning, heating all over the place in there, but this particular unit only comes into action in warm weather. And it will be going down for the winter quite soon. In fact, even now on a day like today, it's not kicking in very often. I see the Coca-Cola truck just ran by, and that's an interesting one. He doesn't stop on this street. He stops out in front of the Don Quixote store. And he charges up. There's a bunch of vending machines all over the place on that street. So he makes his run down here. I don't think it's every morning. I don't remember. And I've never spoken to the guy. It's always the same guy who's in there. And for years it's been the same guy. And he seems Nigerian. The type of body shape and voice and stuff that we would identify with Nigeria. And there's lots of Nigerian guys here in Tokyo. They usually work in roppongi, out in the bars and stuff there. But this young man is working for Coke. I sort of keep meaning to stop and chat with him every now and then, but he's busy. My God, he's busy. He's got to hustle to fill those machines, and then not the kind of job where he can sit and chat on the street, you know. And I think with a large company like that, it's all timed. His machines know when he hits them, and his boss is probably, hey, you took 15 minutes to fill that machine instead of 13 minutes. Like, what's going on, you know? So we can't sit and talk and chat with the guy, absolutely. Yeah, being stereotypical there, but it's actually true. I don't know, whatever. He's probably looking at me, you know. He know. I mean, we've seen him. I've seen him many times, so he's seen me walk by many times. This, and I guess that guy is thinking, hippie type. Oh yeah, English teacher or something like this. You know, I wonder what he's doing here in Asakusa. Works at an English school in Asakusa or something. So I've got my view. Or no. So I'm thinking most of the Nigerians here are working in Roppongi or Shibuya and stuff like this. So he's managed to land a real job. And he's looking at me and thinking, most of the guys that look like him are working as English teachers, but he's obviously, with his sloppy appearance and the long hair, he can't be an English teacher. So he's looking at me thinking, how do you manage this? How did he escape from what everybody else is doing? So it's probably like that. I'd love to chat with the guy. Just can't do it. You can't interrupt him, you know. Oh, it's 9:15. I have really messed this up today. All these different jobs going on. Man. This was supposed to be finished days ago. Okay, whatever. Let's put that aside. Once the stream's over, I will go get a cup of coffee and I will come back and finish that. But let's move on to something else. A Kaiwa teacher. That's the last thing I know. I taught English when I got here in 1986. We opened an English school in our own home, and I did that till 1991. The last class was in 1991. We had a bit of a party. Davis finished. And partway along, actually, I didn't ever work for an Kaiwa company. I couldn't do that. They wouldn't hire me, of course. And I learned that at the beginning when we set up our own English conversation school. We had some students, but not enough to make us have a living. So I went out to a couple of English conversation schools nearby in Tachikawa and stuff. Say, hey, can I get a job with you for a while? You know, and they just threw me out politely, but they threw me out. There's no way any English conversation school is going to hire this guy. Absolutely no way. Jeans, holes in the knees, needs a haircut, always fingernails, not careful, you know, whatever. So they just simply laugh out of my way, boy. Okay, we are going to paste down the tracing This is today's show and tell. We're going to paste down the tracing for the first prints in next year's series. I've got a map of how this is going to work. Let's see. Let's confirm some dimensions here. And we are going to see a half peel. We'll get to it in a few minutes. We'll get to it in a few minutes. We're going to see a half peel, and I'll explain in a minute when we get there. Okay, also I cannot use my normal big white one here because these blocks this year are not going to be the full width we need. So I'm going to have to cut the registration mark by hand. I thought I had another. Another one, but it seems I don't. Okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, we're going to tap this. Small warning for headphones people. There's going to be some tapping over the next few minutes. So if you've got the delicate headphones on, maybe get them off. There's going to be some light tapping here. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. And we need the next part in full length somewhere here. So about this series, next year's series. Okay, tapping finished. We have a good hard piece of wood here. I need very hard wood for next year's series for the key blocks because there is detail. We need very hard wood. And to get the piece of wood for this today, I scavenged this when I was in Ome last time, a few weeks ago. And I didn't have a piece of wood the right size. But what I found there were some wood blocks that were prepared for me by Matsumura-san 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. Long-term viewers here will remember something called the Octopus Project. I made a print involving an octopus. And it was a dimension that wasn't the same size as we normally make. It needed a specific sized wood block. I carved the key block, and it took so long that by the came time to do the color blocks, I couldn't find the wood that I had ordered for the color blocks. So we made up some more. And then in Ome sometime after this, I did find over in Ome the pieces of wood all ready for the color blocks for the octopus. Beautiful, beautiful, nice hardwood. Turns out they're not so useful for anything else, the Journey series and stuff like that, but they are going to be perfectly usable for the 2022 subscription series. So I cut one in half last night with my little saw upstairs, and it's going to now become the key block for next year's January print. And I have to cut the registration corner. 1 second here. No, I don't have a table saw, John. I don't have a table saw, just the one we made. I cut the wrong corner. Dave, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Just a minute here. Sorry for the futzing around today. Okay, let's paste this baby down. No, John, you've mixed two stories there. The table saw doesn't have the vacuum cleaner motor. The table saw has a really high power, super duper table saw motor. The vacuum cleaner was the hovercraft story. I'm sorry. Lots of stories mixed together. Either I got them mixed together or you've got them mixed together. I suspect in this case it's you've got them mixed up. There are some blog posts about that still left. We built a hovercraft at the music shop. We built a hovercraft for the shop cat. It's a long story. There was tequila involved. Not for me. I wasn't drunk at the time at all. But who was it? It was me and Paul Roy. Who else was there? We did it. I forget. The shipper. What was his name? I can't remember all the people on staff there back in the music shop. Whatever. We were fooling around there one Friday night, and we made a hovercraft out of the shop vacuum cleaner. And the owner's wife went ballistic. She went ballistic. It had been a vacuum cleaner that they had in their home, and when they got a new one at home, they just sent the old one to the shop to use. And it was this old beat-up vacuum cleaner that sort of worked and sort of didn't work. And we repurposed it that night for a hovercraft for the cat. The cat's name was Dave. And we didn't know that it was her favorite. They'd been given it as a wedding present or something like this, and for her that was a real thing for her, a part of her life, an antique, blah, blah, blah. And we had destroyed it to make the hovercraft. She didn't speak to me for ages. If you're British, you know the kind of vacuum cleaner I mean. There's a kind of vacuum cleaner in Britain. They're called Henrys, right? And they've got this sort of little tank, and then Now, I said we're going to get a half peel, and here's what I mean. I'm going to cut this in half. January's prints are here, and sketches for February's prints are here. And because they are not ready yet, there's no way, I know Jed, the designer, would be really upset if I leaked that. So I'm just going to peel. The only part I'm going to peel here is the January. So we're getting a half peel, so you can give me votes from 1 to 5. I don't know, whatever, it's up to you. Okay, you know the story. You're all under an NDA, right? All the viewers of our Twitch stream are hereby advised they are under an NDA, because you now see the first part of the designs for next year's subscription series, the January prints. The February ones are still hidden, but the January set is now visible to everybody, and you can see what's going on and what's going to be going on. We do have a web page ready for it. We're not going to open it yet. We're not taking orders for this yet. But as a side benefit of your subscription, your participation in this Twitch stream, you get to see what's going on before the rest of the world sees it. This is the January edition of next year's print series. This is the key block for them. So you get the idea about what's going to be going on next year. And this is why when I was teasing you, I said, look forward to the unveiling of the January print. Details are not worked out yet, just I know we are going to do this. I don't know the price yet. We haven't figured out packaging. There's lots and lots of things to work out. But anyway, full speed ahead. Now, I mentioned Jed Henry's name, and you see some sketches from Jed up here, but this is clearly not by Jed Henry. So it's going to be a mix and match. A mix and match. And someone has sent them off to his Korean carving slave. Okay, hey, my mother's here. Haven't talked to you for a while. Mom, good morning, good morning. How you doing? I tried Skyping a few days ago. Didn't get an answer. You're in and you're out. The lawyer, the email from the lawyer the other day is no connection with this at all. No connection with this. Okay. So that's where we're going to be going. I am now actually going to start carving. So you're not going to see the knife digging into the wood. You will see this is going to take me quite a while to carve. So over the next streams for the next few weeks, this is the bulk of the work that you will be seeing me doing. This is the January subscription print. There we have it. As I said, you're under an NDA. Tom 1060 got the title. He's known about it. The series title is going to be Embrace the Delight. And the idea is we are just going to make prints that are just delightful. Beautiful to hold and to have and to hold and to look at. Keep them away. This is nothing for framing and putting it on the wall. They stay in folders, stay in a drawer, and you bring them out now and then to show people and to enjoy by yourself. No connection with earlier discussion about a lawyer. And Tom's got it. Yes, actually you're low on the number, Tom, but yes, you're low on the number. We are going to blow this wide open next year. The printers are really nervous about this. Can we do work of this kind of a detail? And I'm like, we are ready for this. We are ready. We can do this. Yeah, Tom 60 definitely gets chocolate eggs. He got the title of this. He picked it up from something that I leaked a couple of months ago. Tom has been sitting on this for the past few days, not going to leak it. We'll see. When I said blow the lid off, what I meant was the idea of being able to publish like a set with 70 prints in a year and keep the price reasonable. Whatever. The girls are thinking like, can we really do this? And I'm like, Yes, we can do this. Stand by. We can do this. In fact, if you want to dig around more, the first group that we have here, these are not originals, these are reproductions, and the originals of this particular group is in our Mokuhankan collection. If you poke around, I would give you a link here, but I don't have it at the top of my mind. Next year's series is going to be a mix. Some are going to be reproductions of prints that we have here in our collection, and some are going to be original designs from our friend and partner, Jed-san. So it's going to be a mix back and forth. But if you want to poke around, you can find these in their original form over in the Mokuhankan collection. Shouldn't be too hard for you to find. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Cameron and I have a ton of work to do today. And when I say a ton of work, I mean a ton of work. We are going to be really, really busy. He's waiting for me to shut up so we can get going on it. Thanks for watching the stream today, you guys. I'll see you again 3 more days from now. Thursday morning for me, Wednesday night for you. I may still have hair. I may not have hair. I don't know. It's out of my control at this point. Okay. Thanks very much. Mom, hang on there. Let me call you up. I haven't talked to you for a while. Let me give you a call. Thanks for everybody. See you next time. Bye for now. Let's pop up the outside and see if we get a last little view of what's going by. The cherry picker is gone. What did they do? Oh, the ninja boy is there. The ninja guy, that's one of the ninja crew. Is he in bare feet? No, sandals. All in black, ready to go. Okay, look, I've got to get out of here, guys. Thanks very much. I have got to get out of here. Bye for now. See you 3 days from now. Bye for now. Zoli.